For the final time in 2021, the best winged sprint car drivers on iRacing.com will hit the virtual dirt, this time at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Two drivers have dominated in nearly all statistical categories throughout this 10-race campaign, and now they are the only two with a mathematical shot at becoming a world champion. Canada's Alex Bergeron looks to join the likes of Gregor Hutu, Martin Kroenke, and Ray Alfalla as the only drivers to win at least 3 iRacing World Championships. Meanwhile, it's Knoxville, Tennessee's Hayden Cardwell, who looks to do the unthinkable by winning both World of Outlaw Late Model and Sprint Car Championships in the same calendar year. The World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series concludes tonight in Concord, North Carolina. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to final round coverage for the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. We want to say hello to all of our live viewers on Diversion.com and iRacing's Facebook page. My name is Chase Rodman, joined alongside Justin Prince with Arjuna Kakipati in the production van. Justin, we will come to you now. A lot of people, I feel like after last week, think that this championship is over with 30 points between the 12 and the 22 car. But really, that gap can change very quickly here in this series.
No, it's not as simple as that, especially with what we've seen over the past couple weeks with some of the intensity and some of the flare-ups, with some of the aggression, especially tracks like Wheat Sport and, of course, at Williams Grove Speedway. For tonight, the pressure's going to be on for Alex Bergeron to execute here at the dirt track at Charlotte, a track where he's done well at in the past. But the difficult mark is going to be doing it cleanly tonight, as in staying out of trouble in his heat race, having a good qualifying run for position for said heat race, and be able to position himself to be in a strong suited spot. Now, a strong finish to this campaign. He does all of those, he comes away with the title. The pressure is, though, we've seen in the past that Hayden Cardwell has also been quick here in a late model. So the pressure is going to continuously be on, to say the very least, with that 30-point difference between those two drivers.
And you see it right there. That is the championship standings as we come into the final round of the season. Alex Bergeron trying to win his third in a row and get another $10,000 check. But Cardwell, 30 points behind. He can make that up relatively quickly in a night here if Bergeron runs into some kind of trouble. Kendall Tucker is in third, then James Edens and Tim Ryan, the top 5. You look back there, look at that relegation line. Rusty Kruger and Mason Hannigan. What that means there is, ladies and gentlemen, the top 15 in points, those drivers get to keep their license and run in this series again next year without having to requalify. And right now, Rusty Kruger is in by the slimmest of margins.
And that means he cannot afford any mistakes. He's been very quick, especially in his heat races and some of the qualifying sessions for the past couple weeks. But so has Mason Hannigan. Colton Davis has been able to get some clean runs the past couple weeks. Cole Newhoffen's shown some speed off and on for the past couple weeks as well. We've also seen Shea Powell and Alex Motors come back into their own the past few weeks. So it all comes down essentially to, if any of those drivers make their way into the heats, or out of the heats to the feature, they're in a decent spot with the heat points to be able to get feature points. They struggle tonight, they're in the danger zone.
Well, let's talk about those points. The all-important points here tonight. In a heat race, if you were able to get a win, it is worth 8 points towards your championship total. If you finish 8th place in the heat race, however, you only get 1 point. That'll be very crucial when it comes to the heat races later on for our 2 championship contenders. Feature points, on the other hand, there's a lot to be made and a lot to be lost there between 1st and 20th. 70 to win and 23 to finish 20th, which is dead last in the field. So I think, Justin, you kind of had it mapped out a little bit as far as where Bergeron needs to finish here tonight, right?
11th or better specifically. That doesn't include the factor in for the heat points quite yet. If there is a little difference even in the heat points specifically, say Cardwell scores more than Bergeron, that can shuffle it to where he needs to be 10th or better. If Bergeron outscores Cardwell in the heats, it grows it to 12th on better. It all depends on how they do in their heats for the specific mapping of that. But in other words, as long as Bergeron, as you said, doesn't get involved in trouble, has a solid run, then the $10,000 prize goes towards his direction. He makes any mistakes tonight, then that's up in the air.
If he's able to do it, that'll be $30,000 in the last 2-ish years for Bergeron in just this series alone. He's made it in the late model series. He's made it in the USAC Sprint Car Series that we had a couple years back. He's won a lot of money on this sim, but not as much as he's made right here in this particular series. As you saw there, there's prizes all the way down to 10th in the championship and weekly. Here is the event format. Heat races, obviously we already talked about those. There will be 4 of them here tonight. Each one will be 10 laps in distance. The top 4 will move straight to the A main event. Then if you don't make it out of those top 4 spots in the heat race, you'll go to a consolation race or a B main. There will be 2 of those, 12 laps in distance, and the top 2 will move straight to the feature event to make up a 20-car field, 35 laps. The caution laps do not count. And Charlotte Motor Speedway Dirt Track, if we think back to the late model finale last year, Justin, this place could put on a pretty good show.
I think so. It's a track where the top and the bottom can come into play. It's one where it's wide and can be conducive to great action, as we've seen as well in the past. It's going to be one as well where I think, though, as long as drivers adapt to some of the changing conditions and be able to properly manage the lines, they'll be in a good spot. The track is fairly cool tonight. The air temp's fairly high. But overall, we're expecting it to be a very intense race, to say the very least, with so much on the line, not just for the championship for perfection, but as well, though, with so many drivers trying to make sure they're locked in for either specific prize totals or for the top 15.
And you can see right there on the left side of your screen, qualifying time trials is going on right now. Each driver 2 laps on the clock. And here you see the 14 of J.D. Brown. But right now, how about Greg LeMay at the top of the charts in car number 99 with a 12.305 with the fastest lap time. Kendall Tucker, Hayden Cardwell, Logan Rumsey, and Tyler Schell, last week's winner at Williams Grove Speedway. Currently the top 5 as J.D. Brown comes around to complete his first lap.
Yeah, and you can tell with the pace right now for some of these drivers, it's up to a tenth slower than drivers had in final open practice just a little while ago before tonight's action. But that's just the transition of the track. But for some of these competitors, they needed these runs tonight to be able to solidify themselves in specific spots for the points chase. We'll see how they do, though, in the heats.
Here we go, first heat race of the night. And how about Tim Ryan? Takes the pole position away within the last few seconds of the qualifying session. The 98 at Tim Ryan just snookered everybody right there, and he will be on the pole of the first heat race alongside the 41 car of Logan Rumsey. Row 2 on the inside, it's J.D. Brown out of Bakersfield, California. And outside of them, car number 3, that's Lewis Hewitt out of Adelaide, South Australia. Row 3, it's the 18 of Austin Silliman from Brookfield, Wisconsin. And the 37 is Zane Scott from Castalia, Ohio.
Rounding out your top 8 positions for Heat Race 1, it's going to be Nick Cooper starting alongside John Batista. Nick Cooper based out of Waterloo, New York, while John Batista, Allenton, Florida.
My goodness, Tim Ryan, that's exciting right there. We basically all but wrote off everybody else. Greg LeMay looked like he had the top spot there, JP, but within maybe the last, 5 seconds of qualifying, Tim Ryan lays down a flyer and puts it on the pole here tonight, puts him in great position to maybe start on the pole of the feature event here this evening. If you take a look at that right there, 29 drivers from the United States, 4 from Australia and 2 from Canada. And you know what there, JP? I feel like this series always really brings a lot of Australian drivers. You know, sprint car racing so big down there in Australia and New Zealand, and it really shows here in this series.
Yeah, a lot of talent, to say the very least, on the platform from there. Of course, Tim Ryan races in real life, has raced sprint cars down in Australia, actually, in recent months. So some of that experience coming to play for tonight. But as well, some of the rising stars from across the United States we've seen in this platform. We've talked about Mason Hannigan a lot. We've seen drivers compete this season who work with rear-world teams as well. Just all that experience all comes into play for a series such as this.
Want to remind you, 10 laps the distance here in this heat race. The top 4 drivers, you have to finish first, second, third, or fourth. You will move directly into the 35-lap main event here tonight. If you're not able to finish in the top 4, you will be relegated to a B main event or a consolation. Looks like trouble for John Batista. Does not make the starting grid here as the drivers roll off here down the front straightaway and getting ready for our first pace lap. And this place, you know, Dirt Track at Charlotte, we always end the season here on iRacing.com, but that is for a very important reason. All dirt roads lead to Charlotte. This is the exact place that the World of Outlaws, Morton Buildings, Late Models, and NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars in real life, they end their series here as well there, JP.
Yes, indeed, and a lot of history and great battles have taken place here as well in the virtual world, and as that result, too, where we've seen the back and forths in the late models for this past summertime. For example, we've seen in the sprint cars a couple years back some of the intense moments. We've seen some first-time winners break through, or some first-time in a season winners come through at this track in the past. This is the type of track where, as well, keep in mind, a lot of organizations from various different disciplines base themselves around this region. So it's going to be big if you win here at the dirt track at Charlotte, whether it's real world or virtual.
No doubt about it. Let's see who takes the win here in heat race number 1. If you win this heat race, you're on the pole of the feature event. Tim Ryan alongside of Logan Rumsey will lead the field down to the stripe. Good start for Rumsey on the outside, but it will be the 98 of Tim Ryan leading the field down to turn number 1. Ryan will go around the bottom of the speedway as he works his way down the back straightaway. The 41 of Rumsey right there behind him, not letting him get too far away, but it looks like Ryan will lead lap number 1.
A good launch for Ryan and a good launch as well for Rumsey, but the battle is on for third on back. Sittleman trying to hold off two different lines of cars at the moment. Hewitt trying to work on the bottom side. J.D. Brown stuck on the top line at the moment. Bit of a bobble for Brown, had to catch the car. Here comes Zane Scott underneath as a result.
Zane Scott, 37 car, red and white machine, working the inside of the 14 car. J.D. Brown on the back straightaway. Those drivers battling for 5th right now. They got to get one more spot. They got to get up to the 3 car Lewis Hewitt if they want to try and make their way into the feature event. Now here comes Nick Cooper to call. He'll look to the inside of Zane Scott for the 5th spot off of turn number 2, but can't make the pass. But Cooper does get by the 14 and J.D. Brown and moves up to 6th.
Track currently showing itself towards the bottom lines. This has been the trend throughout the season on tracks such as this throughout the campaign, as well as the middle line working in, as that track slowly sees the groove move up a touch. For Lewis Hewitt, though, a good race so far for him, being able to defend Zane Scott halfway that time by.
And Zane Scott once again takes a look to the left rear tire of Lewis Hewitt off of turn number 2. Can't make the pass quite yet. Hewitt still in the final transfer spot, this time by 3 to go across the start-finish line. Hewitt still got it, but Zane Scott right there in his back pocket as we see the 41 just up ahead. He tries the outside groove right there for Logan Rumsey. Does not make up any ground on Tim Ryan. Now he's got to kind of defend here. The 18 of Selman all over him as they work back into turn number 1.
Again, that's for important track position with these heats. One move gets you up a couple rows overall for the feature race. But for Lewis Hewitt, pressure still on behind. 2 laps to go this time. Zane Scott still trying to apply the pressure, now moves up the groove, trying to find a different line to try and make this pass.
You can already see the racetrack starting to change quite a bit as Cooper throws his nose in there, gets into the back of Zane Scott. They touch off of turn number 4, and that allows Lewis Hewitt to squeak away off the 4th corner. It looks like he's going to be in prime position to take home that final transfer. Your race winner, however, is the 98 of Tim Ryan. He will get it done here in heat race number 1. So Ryan wins it, followed by Logan Rumsey, Austin Semmelman, and Lewis Hewitt. Those 4 drivers go straight to the A main event here tonight, and going to the B main will be the 35 of Nick, or sorry, the 37 of Zane Scott, the 35 of Nick Cooper, the 14 of J.D. Brown, and the 54 of John Batista. Those 5 drivers, I should say, will come out of a consolation race later on tonight. Let's get set for our second heat race. It'll be Greg LeMay, I should say, in the 99 car. He'll be on the pole. On the outside of him, a first-time winner with the series last week at Williams Grove Speedway, the 85 of Tyler Schell will start in second. Row 2 on the inside, the 27 of Colton Davis. He comes to us from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And on the outside of him, the 52 car, James Edens, hailing from Santa Rosa, California. Row 3 on the inside, 5th starter from Franklin, Pennsylvania. It's Braden Eiler, and the 71 of Cole Cabry, originally from Tampa, Florida.
Body out the drivers in the field for heat race 2. It's Dustin Griffiths in the 9 machine from Bloomington, Indiana. He'll start shotgun for the field.
Let's take a look and see what happens here in this one. Man, a lot of the purple race cars we've talked about a couple times this season, Justin. At least 5 cars in this one, or sorry, 4 cars, I should say, rocking the black and purple. That's a pretty familiar color scheme, I guess, here in the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing.com. We'll see which of those purple cars can make their way into the show here tonight. But the guy I want to watch for here is the 85 of Tyler Schell. We always talk about momentum in racing, and boy, oh boy, does that guy have a lot of momentum on his side right now, picking up that huge win, holding off Alex Bergeron last week at Williams Grove Speedway. Gets a decent qualifying effort here tonight, and has a good shot to start up front here again tonight.
I think so right now, especially with the momentum going his way. He's been getting better and better as the track works its way in, especially when it's on towards the high line we've seen. As long as he doesn't make mistakes like at Cedar Lake, I want to be surprised to see Schell potentially be a factor again for the race win tonight. But the main thing's going to be making sure he doesn't make a mistake in this heat race, since the top line still hasn't worked its way in. It's still middle to bottom line dominant so far, but that can all change throughout the course of this heat.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This racetrack will change a ton by the end of these heat races, and it's exciting to always watch how it shapes up here as we go off of turn number 4, ready to go green. Second heat race is underway, and it's LeMay out with the early race lead. Tyler Schell already going to the top of the racetrack. He'll lose a spot to the 27 of Colton Davis, who slides up in front of him, and now Schell has to fight with the 52 car. James Eden to Schell back to the inside of Davis.
Multiple cars bouncing off each other, though, as Brendan Eiler spins to the inside. He's stuck on top of a tire. Tyler Schell trying to hold off second as a result. Side by side for 4. Cole Cabrey trying to hold on to the top. Edens with the slide. Goes to the middle line. Back side by side near contact of the stripe.
Good race going on for the 4th spot as James Edens drives it in deep, nearly gets into the side of Colton Davis. Cole Cabrey fights back on the outside, car number 71. That's the battle for the final transfer spot. Cabrey's gotten off the 4th corner, but don't count out James Edens, who earlier this season went on a run of 3 second-place finishes in a row in feature action. So James Edens definitely knows how to get the job done.
And he's usually someone that trends towards the bottom line as his preference we've seen. But right now, the preference starting to work in right up next to the wall. Griffith's trying to go the highest of that grouping, but Edens among those drivers trying to dare go up there, more so in 1 and 2. Halfway this time, still can't get a run quite yet on the 71.
Absolutely fantastic run right now for Gregory LeMay out front in this one. They took him a couple races to finally make a feature at the beginning of the season, but LeMay has had some good races the last couple of weeks, and right now up front in this heat race doing a great job. Great race for 3rd as Cabrey throws a slider on the 27 of Colton Davis. Davis fights back to the inside and reclaims that 3rd spot off of turn number 4.
Back and forth, and this could help James Edens gain a little bit of ground as Cabrey now once again tries to build a bit of a bumper. Davis forced to check up, side by side again as Cabrey goes to the middle. Davis slides up, bit of contact, 71 into the wall. 2 laps to go, Cabrey out of a transfer spot.
And Colton Davis got into him right there, fed him a little bit of the right rear tire, and that's going to allow the 52 car James Edens to go by. Edens is now into the 3rd spot, closing in a little bit on Tyler Schell, but the white flag is out one more time around for Greg LeMay, looking for his first heat race victory of the season.
What a race for him, and what a heat. Quick and qualified, and now gets himself a checker flag. He wins heat race 2. Schell, Edens, Davis will move on with Griffiths and Cabrey along with Eiler all out.
Wow, great race right there for Greg LeMay. That was really fun to watch. Dustin Griffiths starts in 7th, ends up in 5th. He'll miss the feature by 1. Cole Cabrey and Braden Eiler round out the field. Heat race number 3 is on the racetrack here, and it's the first of our championship contenders in this one. The 00 Kendall Tucker, he is on the pole, and outside of him, the 12 of Alex Bergeron trying to punch his ticket straight into the feature and make it just that much easier to maybe clinch that 3rd title. Row number 2, the 8 of Cole Newhoffen, and the 25 car Tyler Ducharme will start in 4th in this one. Row 3 on the inside, the 74 car of Adam Elby out of Tracy, California, and the 21 car Shea Pallow from Hanford, California.
Rounding up the 7 drivers in Heat Race 3 tonight, it's Alex Smulders based out of Merlin, Ontario.
Oh boy, Alex Bergeron, he needs to have a quiet, have a nice and smooth heat race right here. If he can make the show, that'll make this night a whole lot easier for him. But he's got the likes of Newhoffen, the likes of Ducharme behind him. Elby's been very good in the past, and Kendall Tucker's obviously no slouch. He's currently 3rd in the championship point standings here. So a huge heat race right here as far as the championship goes.
Absolutely, and remember, Bergeron has won here in the past, back in 2018 in the final finale for that season. That was when Tim Ryan had his championship run at the time. So Bergeron can get the job done here, as we've seen at these bigger tracks and at the dirt track at Charlotte itself. It's just a matter of how will Kendall Tucker race against him, how will the rest of the others race against him, since they're all fighting for valuable points behind him too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Cole Newhoffen in particular, outside of the relegation right now, if he wants to maintain his Pro Series license to run in this series next year, he's got to have a good run here tonight in that number 8 car. We'll see how aggressive he gets off of turn number 4. Heat race number 3 is underway here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track. Kendall Tucker out with the early race lead as Bergeron already takes a look to the inside, trying to take the race lead away. He's not going to get it as Tucker drives around him.
Tucker gives a little bit of a squeeze as Bergeron tries to go to the bottom of the racetrack. One huge charge from behind, though. Newhoffen trying to squeeze up the middle for a transfer spot. I'll be able to hold on. Newhoffen takes away 4th, however, from Tyler Ducharme. Bergeron still falls along to the middle line. Kendall Tucker preferring the middle to the top to the slide up for the momentum in the first couple laps early on.
The 74 of Adam Elby's on the move early in this one. He started fifth. He's already into the third spot, and not too far behind the 12 car of Alex Bergeron, your race leader. Once again, the 00 of Tucker. There's the 8 of Newhoff and the 25 of Ducharme, and several others back there battling for the transfer spot. The 8 of Newhoff is in the final one, but here comes Ducharme fighting back to the outside of Shea Powell for fifth.
Ducharme better contact with Powell, forced to check up hard. Able to straighten it back out as he goes for the slide now at the bottom of the racetrack in response. Powell holds on to his line. Bit of a squeeze from Ducharme. Powell goes back to the middle line. This loses them a ton of time, though, to Cole Newhoffen. Newhoffen's now pulled half a second as a result of this as Bergeron tries to slide to the race lead.
Alex Bergeron trying to get maximum points here in this heat race. If he finishes second and Cardwell wins, that will be one more point that Cardwell adds to his total. Bergeron knows it. He'll take a look up the inside of Kendall Tucker off to turn number 2. That Bear Archery number 00 car still having the race lead. 3 laps to go this time by Bergeron right there in the back pocket.
The Team ABR machine now works to the bottom of the racetrack once again. Bergeron, remember, trying to make sure he doesn't have to have as much pressure for the feature. Those 8 points going to be very valuable tonight, especially with Hayden Cardwell for looking and licking his chops on this fight. Right now, Bergeron still not able to pass on Kendall Tucker. White flag this time.
Big contact back behind between Tyler Ducharme and Shea Powell, and Powell ends up on the lid. The white flag is in the air. Once again, Bergeron trying to make a move on Kendall Tucker here in the final corner, but it looks like Tucker's going to hang on for the heat race victory, and he will get it done in heat race number 3. Mount Airy, North Carolina's Kendall Tucker will win the third heat race here tonight. Alex Bergeron in second, Adam Elby in third, and Cole Newhoffen, your 4 transfers out of that one. Tyler Ducharme, Alex Smolders, and Shea Powell will be your full feature or full heat race rundown in that one. As we get set to go, our final heat race of the night. And on the pole, it's the 22 car of Hayden Cardwell, who has a little bit of an opportunity here to make up some points on Alex Bergeron if he could pick up the win in this one. On the outside of him, it's Cameron Merriman in car number 17. Row 2 on the inside, it's the 1X of Mason Hannigan from Pittsburgh, Indiana. And outside of him, the 56X of Brett Wheeler from Sydney, Australia. Row 3 from Loomis, California, the 10K Rusty Kruger. And the 91 car, Anthony Job, will start in 6th.
Weimar will round out the field based out of the state of Wisconsin, looking for some momentum and some positivity to end off his campaign here this season.
Man, there's so many points this year where I've said that Ryan Mayer looks like he's in great position to get a transfer, but something always seems to happen, or he comes up just a little bit short. Would be really happy to see Ryan Mayer in this season in the feature event here tonight, that 915 car, but did not get a very good qualifying effort, so it's going to be tough for him right there. But you see the 22 Cardwell, his last couple finishes, fourth, and then that unfortunate run last week at Williams Grove Speedway there, Justin. It was the first lap. He got into the left rear tire, I should say, of Alex Bergeron on lap number 1, put him into the inside wall, and he ends up finishing in 12th.
Yeah, the damage was just too much for him to try and get all the way back through the field, especially in the front little wing you see on those race cars. That affected him a ton here as a result of that contact. That doesn't happen. We're talking about a much different situation, but now he's in a spot where he can gain at least an additional point if he can hold on up at the front here in this respective heat, which would, again, apply that pressure we talked about to make it a 10th or better instead of 11th or better. Just those little gains. Some of the positivity, moments of positivity that can bring some momentum.
Great point there, Justin, as we go green here in this final heat race of the night. Hayden Cardwell gets a good jump over the 17 car of Cameron Merriman. He's getting challenged on the inside by Mason Hannigan. Rusty Kruger to the inside of Brett Wheeler off of turn number 2 and into 3 and 4. Oh, and Wheeler has an issue, puts it in the fence in 3 and 4 right there.
Not the way he wanted to start this heat race as he shuffled to the back end of the field. Meanwhile, still Anthony Job trying to hold on to the bottom of the racetrack, moves up to the top line while Rusty Kruger runs a lane away from the wall. He's right now in the bubble spot at the moment. Mayer's already up to 6th spot. Fastest lap turned by Merriman as the top 2 have ran away.
Yeah, Merriman looks like he's closing in a little bit here on Hayden Cardwell for the race lead, but Cardwell has still about a 2-car length gap. Race for 3rd down the front straightaway. Here comes Kruger with a big move to the inside of Mason Hannigan. Rusty Kruger's up to 3rd, Hannigan back to the inside, and that allows the 91 of Job to get himself in the mix as well. Anthony Job might find himself in a transfer by the end of this thing.
Yes, indeed, and Job has shown some speed off and on throughout the campaign. It's just been the matter of, overall, trying to get clean runs for some of these positions, especially the transfer spots. He's trying to poke his way around while Hannigan goes for the slider. All the way to the bottom of the racetrack for third once again. Up to the wall. Needs a ton of momentum. Too high into the wall.
And he gets into the fence right there to the back straightaway. Hannigan gets into it, and now Kruger goes around him. Here comes Job to call down the front straightaway. He's going to look to the outside of Mason Hannigan. They both run the middle of the speedway through 1 and 2. Kruger still in the third spot in the 10K, but Hannigan, all kinds of pressure come from behind from the 91 of Job, and even throw the 915 of Ryan Mayer right there as well.
It's been intense so far, to say the very least, for this battle for the transfer spot. The question is, can Hannigan hold on for 2 more laps? 2 more turns around the dirt track at Charlotte. Here comes Job with a run. Job elects to line it up on the top line. Hannigan lines it up in the middle line. Bit of contact with the back Nerf bar that time. Hannigan goes back on the defense. White flag this time.
White flag, 1 to go. Cardwell still with the race lead. Merriman in second, Kruger in third. But the race for the transfer spot, the one I'm watching here, is Anthony Job. Has one last shot down the back straightaway. He'll take a look to the inside into 3 and 4, but it's going to be Mason Hannigan hanging on to 4th place. Your race winner will be the 22 of Hayden Cardwell, followed by Cameron Merriman, Rusty Kruger, Hannigan, and then we have Job, Mayer, and Wheeler will round out the field. Now one but Hayden Cardwell now makes it 29 points heading into the feature event there, Justin.
And that's going to be pretty critical a little bit there. Yes, it's still a substantial amount, Chase. But again, having some positivity in terms of momentum is going to be critical in his situation. Any positive moments are big. Any mistakes as well, now as a result, could be that much more magnified if Bergeron has any trouble.
And one of the rare times this season we have a single B main event here tonight there, Justin. 13 cars, the top 4 will move into the back of the A main event. It'll be 12 laps the distance, so 13 cars here in a single B main. The 37 is Zane Scott. He'll be on the pole. Outside of him is the number 9 car of Dustin Griffiths. Row 2, the 25 of Tyler Ducharme and the 91 of Anthony Job. Third row, the 35 of Nick Cooper and the 71 of Cole Cabry.
Alex Smulders will start alongside Ryan Mayer in row 4 with J.D. Brown starting to row 5 alongside Braden Eiler. Shea Powell will start towards the back of the field in row 6. Brett Wheeler will start in 12.
And your final starter, if he can make the call, is the 54 of John Batista. Might have been having some issues here tonight as far as the technicals go. And it looks like Batista also does not make the call here for the B main, so his season will end on a low note here tonight. But this is interesting here. 12 cars, 12 laps, top 4 will go to the back of the A main. And there's a lot of heavy hitters in this one. Ducharme, Cabry, Cooper, who had a very good start to the season, as well as Alex Smulders and Braden Eiler. The series last season, J.D. Brown, my goodness. There's about 8 cars in this one that I think could probably get one of those 4 transfers, Justin.
I agree with you. It's just a matter, though, of who times out their sliders the best without making significant contact. And for some of these drivers, they're going to be a little bit rattled with some of their respective bounces and bangs from their sides that send them up and out of a transfer spot. So I think we're going to see a fair bit of aggression right from the get-go with some of these drivers want to gain several spots, get themselves to the bubble positions fast.
Yeah, let's see what happens. This is going to be very interesting as Zane Scott and Dustin Griffiths lead the field to the green flag. Scott's on it early. He's going to jump out with the race lead to turn number 1. Dustin Griffiths right behind him. Griffiths hits the wall, somehow hangs onto the race car, and is in the second spot down the back straightaway.
That was 3 wide through 1 and 2 to start things off as well for 4th spot, but already Cooper getting shuffled all the way back to 6th spot. Job now battling for the bubble spot. Up on the top line goes Ducharme. Cabry wanting to go in the middle line. Bit of contact as Ducharme forced a left hard on the back end of Griffiths. Big slide now as the 71 loses the top. Here comes Job to take it away.
What a move right there. Oh, and Griffiths into the fence. And he's going to come down the racetrack, get into Job. He hits the outside wall, and they're all stacked up down the back straightaway. And the 5 of Braden Eiler, his night just went from bad to worse as he gets into that one. And that was a tough break right there for the 5 of Eiler. But back up front, your 4th place runner right now is the 91, that black and pink machine of Anthony Job.
The driver's right behind, in front of him rather, now as a result of that, trying to run away and get some cushion is Ducharme and Cabry in terms of positions, but the driver's looking to gain back. Cooper, Wheeler, Smulders, J.D. Brown, Shea Powell, all close and all fighting hard. 3 wide off the corner. Powell able to cut by several drivers. He slides into Wheeler for 6. All while Smulders tries to work the top line, gets shuffled out.
The 35 of Nick Cooper needs to put something together here. It looks like he's actually tracking down Anthony Job just a little bit now. Cooper right now in that white 35 car needs to get by one more spot if he wants to make it in the feature event here tonight. He's got to run on Job into turn number 3. Race for second. They get together. Ducharme gets sideways as he gets hit from Cole Cabry, and now Job and Cooper fighting for that third spot here as Ducharme loses a ton of ground to your top 2.
And that's going to be big if he ends up letting it get inside his head right now. He's losing a ton of momentum. Here comes Job now to take away third spot. Slides it right on by, up to the top of the wall. Ducharme tries to cut underneath. Here comes Cooper now with a charge. Ducharme slides back underneath. Side by side once again, 3 laps to go.
Holy cow, it's getting good right here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track. Nick Cooper still in the 5th spot as Job hits the wall down the back straightaway. He hangs onto the race car, maintains 3rd, but here comes Cooper off the bottom. 3 wide for 3rd down the front straightaway. 3 drivers right there under a blanket, but only 2 of them are going to the feature, but what a move right there by Nick Cooper.
He parks the bus now on the back straightaway. Ducharme spins it into the wall. Hit by Brett Wheeler. Smulders drives on by. J.D. Brown hits him as well. White flag is up. Final lap for the LCQ. Zane Scott, Cole Cabry, Nick Cooper, and Anthony Job in great positions.
Checkered flag waves, and your winner will be the 37 of Zane Scott. He gets the last chance qualifier win. 2nd to Cole Cabry, 3rd to Nick Cooper, and 4th will go the number 91 car of Anthony Job. But unfortunate ends to the season for Brett Wheeler, who came from 12th to 5th in that one. Then it was Alex Smulders, J.D. Brown, Ryan Mayer, Tyler Ducharme, obviously upside down, Dustin Griffiths, Braden Eiler, and John Batista. Their seasons will come to an end early here tonight. And that was it right there for our preliminary events there. And we're going to take a short commercial break here on DirtVision.com and iRacing's Facebook page. We'll come back with the 35-lap finale for the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series right here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track.
Every race live. The greatest shows on dirt from coast to coast, and now worldwide for only $39 a month. Watch the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings Late Models, and the Dirt Cars Summer Nationals Hell Tour with 1 Fast Pass for only $39. Now, catch the greatest racing action down under with sprint cars, late models, and midgets from iconic Australian venues all year long. Live. Hundreds of races. 1 Fast Pass. $39 a month. DirtVision.com. Subscribe today.
Welcome back to the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the final round of the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. My name is Chase Rodman alongside of Justin Prince. And, well, Justin, I don't know if you've had the calculator out or whatever you need to be having to figure out this championship battle, but we do know 29 points separate Alex Bergeron and Hayden Cardwell, along with a 35-lap feature to find out who's going to take home $10,000 here tonight.
If my math is right, 10th or better is all Bergeron needs for tonight to ensure the title. For Kendall Tucker, as long as he doesn't make any major mistakes, could finish 3rd in the title. For James Edens, though, It's still up in the air with Tim Ryan at his pace tonight for 4th and 5th positions respectively. It's not over yet, but right now, as long as Bergeron runs a solid race, he's in a great spot. Hayden Cardwell going to need a bit of luck to go his direction tonight.
I'm telling you right now, Bergeron lines up in 7th for this feature event there, Justin. And there's some guys behind him that are very, very good competitors, winners with the series. I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk here tonight at all for Alex Bergeron, even if he tries to play it safe by running inside the top 10. So this is going to be a roller coaster of a race here as the drivers now make their way onto the speedway for practice. As we take a look at the schedule so far this year, obviously we're in the final race, but you get a good look at some of the winners so far this year. Some first-time winners right there with Tyler Schell and Cameron Merriman. Obviously Hayden Cardwell, a first-time winner with the sprint cars back at Fairbury. Then he got another win at Kokomo. So obviously Cardwell and Bergeron have basically all but dominated the series so far this year, and that's why they have a 30-something point lead over the guy in 3rd in the championship. So, but back to what I was saying there, the guys behind Bergeron here, Justin, are not going to play it easy. They're not going to, just let him go out and, have a cakewalk of a race here. These guys are going to be fighting Merriman, Semlin, Edens, Elby, and, guys coming from the back in the B main event like, Zane Scott and Cole Cabrey. This is going to be really fun to watch.
It's a chance to finish the season on a winning note. And keep in mind, we talk about the prize pool in the past. Keep in mind, there's still prize pools available per race, remember. $300, $200, $100 respectively. The pressure is on to be able to win those totals as well. So in other words, it's not as simple as 1, 2, 3. It's going to be very difficult to try and come away with the points you're looking for.
Let's take a look at the starting grid for the final race in 2021 for the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing.com. On the pole, it's the 2018 Series champion, the 98 of Tim Ryan from Mandurah, Western Australia. And outside of him, a great starting spot for this guy tonight from Hamburg, Pennsylvania. The 99 of Greg LeMay will start in 2nd. Row 2 inside, the 00 of Kendall Tucker from Mount Airy, North Carolina. And the man everyone's watching here in this one, the 22 of Hayden Cardwell from Knoxville, Tennessee. Row 3 on the inside, the 41 of Logan Rumsey. He's from York, Pennsylvania. And the 85, last week's main event winner, Tyler Schell.
In 7th spot, Alex Bergeron, the 2-time champion in the series, will look to try and work for the mid-pack alongside Cameron Merriman, while Austin Suttleman will round out the top 10 with James Edens. Adam Elby starts in row 6 tonight with Rusty Kruger needing some valuable points with the relegation line being so tight. Starts in 12th.
Row 7 on the inside, the 3-car of Lewis Hewitt, last week's pole sitter at Williams Grove Speedway, to his outside from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, the 27 of Colton Davis. Row 8 on the inside, it's the number 8 of Cole Newhoff, and into the outside of him, the number 1 X-car of Mason Hannigan. And row number 9, your B main event transfers, the 37 of Zane Scott and the 71 of Cole Cabrey.
Last drivers on the grid tonight. Nick Cooper will start in row 10 alongside Anthony Job. It's going to be a fun one. The final race of the campaign. The question is, who takes home the checkered flag and who takes home the title?
$10,000 up for grabs here tonight between Hayden Cardwell and Alex Bergeron. 29 points separate. Alex Bergeron must finish 10th or better if Hayden Cardwell is able to win the race. Keep that in mind if you see the 22 car make his way to the front. The 12 of Bergeron must finish 10th or better. Those are the standings. That's how it needs to play out here for either of those drivers. Pace Truck will pull to the infield for the final time here this season, and it'll take the field in the hands of the 98 car of Tim Ryan and the 99 of Greg LeMay as they make their way slowly into turn number 3. They'll be flying off of turn number 4 as we're underway here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the final time in 2021.
Great launch for Tim Ryan. Already goes up to the cushion as several drivers fan out 3, 4 wide in several different segments. Already Kendall Tucker jumping to 2nd. Hayden Cardwell ripping the top side. Bergeron stuck in the hornet's nest to end the first lap.
And your race leader is the 98 car of Tim Ryan. Greg LeMay puts a big slider on Kendall Tucker for the 2nd spot. Here comes Cardwell trying to make a 3-car battle for 2nd. Cardwell drives into deep. He'll slide by 2 cars right there in 3 and 4. And Cardwell, what a move right there. He's up to P2.
Still not over yet for the battle for second. Still intense with several drivers fighting side by side, several rows deep. LeMay near contact as Rumsey now drives to the bottom of the racetrack. Cardwell now gets himself the bumper. Cardwell now secure in second spot. Bergeron, meanwhile, is still in ninth position, still 3 wide for third spot.
Holy cow, they're 4 wide right in front of Alex Bergeron as they work back into turn number 3. The 12 has got to be a little bit nervous here as he works to the outside of Kendall Tucker, trying to get every spot he can. The 12 of Bergeron in a hornet's nest, as Justin mentioned, but up front, the 98 of Tim Ryan already out to a 1.5 second advantage.
One of the strongest starts to a race we've seen all season for a feature, to say the very least, for Tim Ryan, already leading by 1.5 seconds. The Hornet's Nest, part of that reason with so many drivers bottlenecked, make it 4-5 wide into turn 3 as Kendall Tucker tries to send it. Back 5 wide off of turn 4.
5 wide like it's nothing off of turn number 4. James Edens is there. The 00 of Tucker's there. The 41 of Rumsey is there. As Bergeron makes a move and a half to get by all those guys, he went 4 wide through the middle. He's up to 5th and is making his way to the back bumper of Tyler Schell. But it's all about the 98 of Tim Ryan right now, who is putting an absolute whooping on these guys. Tyler Schell now battling for third. He gets into the back of Greg LeMay back into turn number 3.
And Cardwell has pulled away from the craziness, but here's that craziness now, starting to see Tyler Schell now go to the bottom. James Edens trying to also find a hole. Sliding by LeMay goes Schell. Here comes Bergeron shooting up the middle. He zooms his way up for the battle for third. Move Bergeron up to third. What a move to fit it right in between there in a tight, paper-thin spot. Schell takes it back, though, with a slide.
Tyler Schell tries to park it on the nose of Alex Bergeron. Bergeron taps the brake, turns back to the inside, takes the third spot right back, but up front, it's all about Tim Ryan. Once a caution is out. We've got a car upside down in turns 3 and 4. It is the 37 of Zane Scott.
I believe Adam Elby also involved in trouble, and Cole Cabry may have been one of the drivers who was the trigger on it. There was a slide in the middle of the pack in turns 1 and 2 that led to some contact, a massive slider. That's from 5-6 car lengths back, as those two cars bounce around, Elby getting the worst of it.
Yeah, that was a tough move right there by the 71 of Cole Cabry. I could see where he was trying to go there, but just things did not play out, I'm guessing, the way he wanted. Drove it in deep, trying to slide by a few cars, but Elby was in the middle of the speedway and gets clipped right there. So tough way to end the season for Adam Elby, upside down. Definitely not the way he wanted to end off this season for the car number 74. But this is a good chance here for Hayden Cardwell to get back on the rear bumper of Tim Ryan, as we're 11 laps in, still 24 to go. And how about that? It's Tim Ryan, Hayden Cardwell, and Alex Bergeron. Remember, the last time those three were lined up was at Eldora Speedway, Justin, where we saw one of the best battles I've personally ever seen in this sim.
One of the best battles in the history of the series, to say the very least, where they went back and forth with multiple different sliders, where the top line was working, the middle line was working to be able to get enough moisture to go for the slides. It was intense, to say the very least. I want to be surprised to see a similar battle if given the opportunity tonight, but the tough part's going to be, how will Tim Ryan's pace be now that everyone else is going to be bunched back up to him after pulling away so quickly off the launch?
Yeah, I mean, Tim Ryan, right off the get-go, it seemed like he had an over 1 second advantage within about 2 laps of the start of the race. Also want to keep an eye on James Edens here. He's from 10th up to 5th now in the 52 machine. Keep our eye on that driver as we get set to go. 11 complete and 24 to go. Tim Ryan, very slow pace back to the restart zone. Green flag is back in the air, and a good start for Tyler Schell behind Alex Bergeron as he's going to get a run on him down the back straightaway.
Cardwell right up against the wall, going for the slide. Bergeron having to defend several cars. Near contact for the race lead as they go back single file. James Edens now joins the fray for third. James Edens runs towards the middle bottom line. Bergeron still ripping the top side with Schell. 22 to go this upcoming time by, as Ryan now leads by just under 4/10.
And James Edens has got something working really nice in the middle of the speedway. The K1 Race Gear Swindell Speed Lab 52 machine has got something really on the bottom in 1 and 2, in the middle in 3 and 4, as he's up alongside of Alex Bergeron for the third spot. And the 52 car, as I mentioned, started 10th in this race, and he's challenging now for the bottom step of the podium.
It's been intense so far, and another caution flag is out. Cole Cabry in trouble in the 71.
Newhoffen also.
Yes, indeed. Some tempers starting to flare up a little bit. Let's take a look at the reasoning, though, here. As Cabry was trying to work 3 wide already in that, and I believe he may have been trying to go for another move, possibly. And Might have to see an air angle there because that didn't look like the best of decision-making there.
Yeah, I don't think that was Cabry's fault. It looks like the 8 of Newhoff and the red number 8 and the 1X
right
of
there.
Hannigan get together. A little bit of contact there,
yep.
And then Hannigan just had a huge run and couldn't check up in time, and it sends the 8 car into the outside wall, and the 71 of Cabry gets probably the worst end of that deal, upside down in a big way right there.
Yes, indeed, and just looked like it was all safe for the most part. Just not enough time for Cabry to check up in that situation with the squeeze. So now some of the drivers who were involved in the relegation battle in some trouble there.
Yeah, Rusty Kruger looks like he was able to come out of that one unscathed, and Kruger is up to the 10th position right now, which is really, really good. He's got to stay in front of Mason Hannigan, and Hannigan was involved in that accident. At this moment in time, Kruger's got, I believe, one spot. Let me look. No, Hannigan right on his back bumper. So this is very, very close between those two there, JP. As far as retaining that pro license, Kruger and Hannigan separated by just one spot here. Whoever finishes in front of the other one is probably going to keep that license.
Absolutely. So in other words, for Hannigan, I think you have to nail this start in the midst of the traffic. Keep in mind that Ryan, we've seen already on the first restart of the race, is not afraid to try and keep it slow, dime in the corner, go for the launch. This time, switch it up.
Yeah, he got a really good start that time. Pulls away 5 car lengths from the 22 car of Hayden Cardwell. They make their way back into turns 1 and 2. Everybody on the top of the racetrack, with the exception, I should say, of James Edens. He tries rolling the bottom in 1 and 2, and now back to the middle of the speedway. So James Edens really, we've seen it from him all season long there, Justin. He likes to try something different from what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, he's always talked about in the past where, whether it's been the late models or the sprint cars, we've seen him try and get the bottom to work. Tonight, though, he's been having to stick to the top because that's where a lot of the speed has been in the early going so far, based on the angles. Trying to go for a little bit of a diamond line, though, to try and pull away from Tyler Schell. He's up 6 positions, Edens is. Keep in mind, oh, wow, Schell is having to hold off Cameron Merriman at the moment, as well as Logan Rumsey.
Yeah, Merriman really, really good right now in that 17 car. We saw him fast last week at Williams Grove Speedway. He looks to the inside of Tyler Schell down the back straightaway. Moved Cameron Merriman to the top 5. He'll throw a big slider on the 85 of Schell. Tags the cushion off turn 4. Schell back to the inside. Now he's going to bring the 41 of Rumsey along with him.
Rumsey tries to work against the bottom of the racetrack again along those tractor tires, lining to the inside of the racetrack. He loses some time. Keep in mind that Rusty Kruger is stuck in a 3-wide fight, making a 2-wide fight with Mason Hannigan. Hannigan trying the bottom, Kruger trying to run the very top of the racetrack still, all while he tries to get around both Settlement as well as Cooper.
Remember, the 10K and the 1X, if they want to race in the series next year, whoever beats the other will be able to do exactly that, as Kruger and Hannigan continue to fight back there for around the 10th spot. But the race for 5th, still a good one, as Tyler Schell once again throws a slider on the 17 of Merriman. That's the battle on your screen now, 3 cars strong with the 41 of Rumsey right there in tow.
Back and forth they have gone throughout this entire fight so far. Right now, their pace is about a 10th or 2 slower than the race leaders, yes. But it's been aggressive to try and fight for as many valuable points to end off the season as they can. Schell to the bottom, tries to slide it up, tries to park the bus a touch as Merriman now goes for the diamond line. Rumsey still not close enough as Schell had a bit of a bobble coming off the corner, loses some time once again. Diamond back and forth.
And this is just allowing the 41 of Rumsey to come in and play as well. He looks to the inside of Cameron Merriman, tries to throw a slider, nope, runs the middle. Merriman drives back around on the outside and gains some more ground on the 85 of Schell. Up front, it is still Tim Ryan by about 7/10 of a second over Hayden Cardwell. James Edens, however, is all over the back bumper of Alex Bergeron back there behind him.
And there's that right now. That's the battle for 3rd possession, starting to heat up. 6/10 back of your race lead. Edens is still trying a different line, trying to get that bottom line to work especially. Try and go the shortest way around, especially on corner exit. Bergeron ripping it all the way up against the fence on the entry of 1 and 2. A little bit lower in 3 and 4 to try and build some speed for the top line and carry a ton of momentum for this part of the speedway.
Great camera angle right there as you go on board with the Team ABR car number 12. I got to give a tip of the hat, though, right now. The 35 of Nick Cooper, he is from 19th up to 10th right now in the 35 car. And I'll tell you where he's doing it right now there at JP, on the very bottom of the speedway. So Nick Cooper, if he can get a caution here, he might be able to crack himself into the top 5 by the end of this race. But time's running out, 5 to go that time by the start-finish line.
Race is winding on down to the season, winding on down. For several drivers looking for some strong endings to this one. For Kendall Tucker and Greg LeMay, they both got shuffled back. But for Tim Ryan, it's been a stellar race for him. He's led every single lap so far in this feature and has pulled off in a way. Bergeron, meanwhile, has lost a spot to James Edens for third.
Yep, James Edens made the pass. The 52 cars now into P3 and into that final money spot. $100 for third, $200 for second, and $300 to win a race here. 3 laps to go to decide the championship here with the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. And at the moment, it looks like the 12 of Bergeron's got it in hand unless something drastic happens here in the final laps.
And what a past few seasons it's been for one Alex Bergeron with the speed he's carried across the dirt tracks in this service, especially in the sprint cars, races sprint cars in real life. He originally competed in several different pavement championships in the road courses and the ovals, and now is only about a lap and a half away from adding to his legacy on the dirt, looking for a third straight title.
We got a race for the lead up front as we come to the white flag. Tim Ryan hit the wall in the back straightaway. Hayden Cardwell nearly got to him, but it looks like it's not going to happen as they work down the back straightaway for the final time. And it looks like it's going to happen. The 12 of Alex Bergeron through 3 and 4 for the final time. He will become the 4th driver to win 3 or more titles on iRacing.com. Ryan wins it, but Bergeron is a 3-time champion with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series on iRacing.com. Another $10,000 payday for the driver out of Drummondville, Quebec, Canada. There he is right there, finishes 4th in this one and locks it up, but we cannot let it go unnoticed. The drive by Tim Ryan here tonight. Big winner. Gets it done for the 2nd time this season. 2nd was Hayden Cardwell. 3rd to James Edens. Bergeron and Merriman round out the top 5 here tonight.
And this just adds on to what has been a majorly stellar legacy for Alex Bergeron. Started off in the middle of last decade as a driver who competed at one point in what is now the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, competed in Grand Prix cars at one point as well. Eventually turned his focus to dirt. We can see where that's now led. He's now become one of the best drivers ever on the service in terms of championships and has built a legacy and then some in his dirt racing career on the sim.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He is becoming maybe the Donnie Schatz of virtual World of Outlaws. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable what he's been able to accomplish in a short amount of time as he does it again here tonight. 6th place tonight was Tyler Schell. 7th was Logan Rumsey. Kendall Tucker was 8th. Nick Cooper was 9th. And Greg LeMay from his 2nd starting position falls to 10th, but still a good run here for him tonight. 11th through 20th look like this. It was Rusty Kruger beating Mason Hannigan, so Kruger, by my calculations, will maintain that pro license for 2022. Anthony Job was in 12th, Mason Hannigan 13th, Austin Selman 14th, Cole Newhoffen, Colton Davis, Lewis Hewitt, the last car on the lead lap, with Cole Cabry, Adam Elby, and Zane Scott rounding out the field here tonight.
What a race, and what a season to say the very least, Chase. And what a drive. You have to give credit to Tim Ryan for his best performance all campaign, Chase.
Yeah, Tim Ryan was absolutely dominant. Had that one little hiccup coming to the white flag, got the outside wall. It looked like Cardwell about got by him, but Ryan able to gather it in quickly. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to come back, talk to your 2021 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car champion Alex Bergeron, along with your top 3 finishers here tonight, Tim Ryan, Hayden Cardwell, and James Edens. Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear this. back to Concord, North Carolina, the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we have just wrapped up the 2020-2021 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship here on iRacing.com. And after 35 hard-fought laps, it was Tim Ryan getting the victory, but Alex Bergeron won the war here tonight, getting his third consecutive championship there, Justin Prince. It's been a lot of fun this season, man, and we saw some of the best racing I think we've seen ever in this series this year.
Agree with you on that one. From the intense battle between Bergeron, Cardwell, and Ryan a few weeks back in the middle portion of the season, to that championship battle between Bergeron and Cardwell, to the relegation line itself, to some of the first-time winners that came into play this season, a lot of special moments came into play. But none more than our champion making some history on iRacing.com tonight.
And no doubt about it, let's talk to our new, or not new champion, our back-to-back-to-back champion, Alex Bergeron, once again a three-time world champion on iRacing.com. And Alex, you now join the likes of Gregor Hutu, Martin Kroenke, and Ray Alfalla as drivers to be the only drivers to win 3 of these world championships on iRacing ever. How does that feel right now as you are probably trying to decompress after a pretty wild race there for you?
Yeah, it was definitely wild. I'm very grateful for this season and what we accomplished, and I think we had 4 wins this season, so not as good as the other seasons. In 2019 we had 5 wins, but we wrapped up the championship here tonight, and definitely feels good. Like I said, very, very proud of what we accomplished, and tonight was definitely a wild race. I think we were back up to 9th or something, 8th at one point. Was just trying to get around the cars in front and just trying to find my place, just right up top. And I was stuck in the middle there for a few laps, and I was ready for the top here tonight. And kind of like the middle came in a little bit with James there, and he was just much faster than I was. And my car was just running out of speed there on the top. So you had the spot there, but we got the championship tonight, and I guess that's what matters. So
yes, indeed. And of course, for many people, it's been a long road to this historic mark. It was a few years ago, around the middle of the last decade, where you were running part-time in the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, as it's now called, running in Grand Prix cars, running in various different series, before eventually making the choice to focus on the dirt. Now that you've put yourself in history among the greatest of the greats, what does that mean to you as a driver to know you've won 3 titles? That's something only a few drivers have ever done on the service.
Yeah, it's incredible feeling, Justin. When I first started, I was a kid back then, and aiming at the Peak Series and the Coca-Cola Series and the F1 Series, and made my ways there. And I was actually in the World Championship very in my young age, and got used to the Pro Series and the top guys and professional sim racers. And I'm at that point now, so I'm really grateful for everything, and just it means a lot, because even World Championship Series for sprint cars, it's just as huge as all the other series. Everybody's just the best, and you have to beat the best if you want to be the best. So that's what we did this season once again, and it feels awesome. Like I said, when I was a kid back then, I was just aiming at the likes of Ray Alfalla and all these guys, and hoping to be at that point in my life. Also going for real racing as well. This helps me out a lot, and really opens eyes for a lot of teams out there to go real racing. So really just doing my best, and as a team, we went for a long ways ago, and 3 years ago we started doing this, and very happy with what we came for. So just glad to get the championship here tonight, and definitely a tough season. We had a lot of great competition with Cardwell there, and it was tough, it was wild, but we came on top. So
you mentioned there that you had to beat the best. You got to be the best to beat the best. And I think this season, there's no doubt that you and Hayden are kind of head and shoulders above the rest of the competition at this point in iRacing, whether that's sprint cars, late models, midgets, whatever it is. It seems like you two are always battling it out, and it showed this year. I mean, he had more top 5s than you at one point in the season, but obviously you come away with the big check. Coming into tonight, I feel like this is the first time really that you had to be maybe a little bit, cautious in the race, because I feel like every other time we've come here, it's been, you come in and you already got it locked up. So, kind of talk about the battle with Hayden all year long, how good he is, how good you guys are. And, for me as an announcer and a race fan, it was a lot of fun to follow you two all year long and see you go back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great show all season long. Just it's a lot tougher, for us. We're only one car on the track, and Cardo's got a lot of teammates on the track. So, I don't know exactly how many cars, but we came on top of all these drivers and all the teams out there, and it's a lot easier when you can go out there and you have a bit of you can just settle and have some teammates help you out. So really, I think we did a good job as a only one guy team and on the World Championship Series. So really, it was a great battle. I mean, he's very good, obviously, and but like I said, it's a bit easier when you have a bit more cars on the track. So I was all by myself on the track, and I think 3 years in a row. I mean, it's incredible.
And I'm not supposed to ask you another question, but I am. What are you going to do with this $10,000 now? What's the plan?
We're just going to try to save up, and live and try to, just try to go real racing. That's all I want. I really want to go real race and try to get to the top of the World of Outlaws, of course, at one point in my life. So we'll just try to aim there. And like I said, maybe this is going to open some eyes for out there. And I just want to go and race. I would race every day of my life. So honestly, I really don't know. We're just going to do our best and survive and just keep on iRacing, keep on doing all these big money races, and just try to aim for real life racing, honestly.
And you're now a 3-time world champion on iRacing.com. Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. And, I got to thank everybody at Team ABRE Sports, Rebecca, Jason, Brendan, especially Brendan for everything he's done for me this year and the World Championship. Probably wouldn't be here without him. Honestly, he did a good job, and we did a good job together. So very proud to have him on board just for these championship races and the big races. So thank you to him. And like I said, all my team, all the sponsors, the partners, CSI Shocks, BidLogic Cabby, K Designs, Marring Farm Equipments, ABR Sit-Up Shop, Stoco, and everybody helps us out. My dad for always watching, and you guys and World of Outlaws for putting us up. It's awesome to be here and race and be at the top level. And I got to thank also my family, everybody that helps the team out, and all the fans out here tonight. Very appreciated, and I can't wait to be back next year, of course.
Alex Bergeron, your 2020/2021 champion with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. But the winner here tonight in dominating fashion, the 98 car of Tim Ryan. Tim, it's been fun to watch you all season long. Had a couple highs, including tonight, had a couple lows. But tonight, man, that car was just absolutely on a rail. Had a moment there coming to the white flag. I thought Hayden was going to get by you. But, man, take us through the race. It seemed like you were just lights out here this evening.
Yeah, exactly right, Chase. Yeah, the car was pretty solid all night. Quickest in qualifying, and then that pretty much set us up for the race. And then you're able to control the race. The track's really tough up top. That's kind of why I made the mistake with 2 to go. Just when you lose that rhythm and take it a bit easier, you just get out of the groove a little bit.
Of course, it was a season with some strong highs and some bumpy lows. Talk us through what was an intriguing campaign for you with some great speed and some great battles, but also some bad luck in that championship scrap.
Yeah, I think bad luck would be an understatement. We actually had a higher average starting position in the feature than Alex over the course of the season. Would have had the same amount of wins if we didn't have the netcode in Eldora. Got taken out at Lernerville before we even got to a green flag. Same thing at Fairbury, we got high-sided. Williams Grove the other week. Got the lead, then had to give it back under yellow. Then the following lap got net-coded. In the turn 3, yeah, the service I've been struggling with on obviously my Aussie connection all year. I've been net-coded multiple times. It's just a shame that it's so hard to race around people when you're in the traffic.
Well, Tim, tonight I believe locks you up for 5th in the championship standings. I know you took a couple seasons off. There, I think 2 seasons or so. Are we going to see next year? Obviously, you qualify in for next year's championship. Do we plan on seeing that 98 car back on track next year?
In all honesty, probably not. This will probably be my last World Championship Series. Just with the difficulties of running these just during the day, it just happened to line up this year. That's why I was able to come back. But just as you get a bit older and life commitments get in the way, it'll probably make it a little bit more difficult to run these in this future.
Oh, that's unfortunate to hear. Always fun to watch. Always a contender. Tim, congrats on the win here tonight. And I hope things change, and I hope to see you next season. But if not, then good luck in future endeavors, man.
Yeah, absolutely. If I get the chance to run, you can definitely count me in. I'd like to thank World of Outlaws for putting this on. It's a great series. iRacing for obviously supporting it as well. Congrats to Alex on the championship. And yeah, thanks to the team, Logitech G, Altus Esports, and all our fantastic partners, Logitech G, Astro Gaming, and also Simon for everything he does throughout the year for me. And I'd also like to say special thanks to anyone that's helped me throughout the season with spotting. So Reese and for all his work. I'm actually going to split the prize money with him 50-50 for all his work throughout the year. So yeah, thank you very much.
Tim Ryan, your winner tonight for the final round at the Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track, and finishing right behind him, not only in the race, but finishing in second in the championship, is the driver, the car number 22 of Hayden Cardwell. And Hayden, a couple months back, I'd say right around 4 or 5 months ago, there was a little discussion going on Facebook about who is the guy to beat Alex Bergeron. And I typed a comment in there. I said, we need to get Hayden Cardwell in the Sprint Car Series. And man, oh man, I about called my shot like Babe Ruth right there. Come up 23 points short of upsetting him here tonight. And we didn't get to talk to you last week after Williams Grove, but obviously a tough break there. But, man, you laid it all on the line here tonight, end up second. And you did everything you needed to do here tonight, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, for sure. After last week, I knew it was going to be a long shot coming into this week. But we were just going to go out there and try to shoot for the win. We messed up a little bit there and just kind of wanted to come out and end on a good note. I'm still happy with second and everything that we've accomplished this year. And just going to move on and see what else iRacing has in store for us.
Of course, a strong campaign overall, either way you spin it. Hayden, of course, mentioned in the past the experience in the real world and the late model side. Of course, the sprint cars now having some strong pace throughout this entire campaign. How big was it to be in contention for the title, especially for your program, especially knowing you won the late model championship and a chance to add that much more with the sprint car title if in contention still? Overall, a strong result for the championship.
Oh yeah, it's huge. I think coming into the sprint cars, a lot of people besides Rod, they didn't really know my, ability to compete in the 410 on here, and it just shows how much hard work actually goes into this, and I pretty much showed that I'm one of the best out there, but just a little bit more consistency would have helped.
The way you're talking, it sounds like we will probably be seeing you again, not only in the sprint cars, but hopefully the late model championship as well, because I know that this real life racing thing is kind of seeming like it's taken off for you. You're doing a little bit more here and there, and it's not even race season yet. So what are your plans, in real life racing as far as the iRacing stuff go? Are we planning to see you once again later on here in a couple weeks, but a couple months for the late model season again?
Oh yeah, for sure. Right now there's no reason to go away from iRacing. Right now it's a pretty good moneymaker. So there's no point at all to leave. We'll definitely we'll stick around for a while, and we'll have the real life stuff around too. So just back and forth, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, Hayden, it was a lot of fun this year to see you and Alex go back and forth with the championship lead and wins and top fives and all that stuff. Like I said, man, a lot of fun to watch. So great job this season, and we'll see you for the late models here in a little bit.
Thanks, boys.
Hayden Cardwell, your second place finisher tonight at in the race and second in the championship. And our third place finisher, fourth in the championship, is the 52 car James Edens. Man, James, if things went a little better at the beginning of the season, you might have been up there with Alex and Hayden. You had 3 second place finishes in a row and rolled the old Don line here tonight. Ends up P3, drives right by Alex, and on the podium. You got to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, for sure. That's the best I've ever felt in the middle at Charlotte here. I think that's the most competitive it's ever been too. So, we definitely had a good car. Just kind of got behind those guys early, and it went away a little bit in 1 and 2. So I don't think we were going to get those guys up front. But yeah, it was a good race overall. It was really really intense there the first 5 laps, and then once it kind of got single file, we just kind of picked off a couple cars.
Of course, this season was one of momentum swings for many drivers, including yourself, including that string of second place finishes. What was kind of going through your mind as the season went on and seeing the back and forth in the standings, but also the need to push that extra bit more to be able to get yourself into position to win some of the races?
The big thing was, qualifying. I just kind of figured out qualifying there halfway through the season, and that really helped us get up front in the heat races, and kind of get out of the trouble that we were dealing with in the first half of the season. So, it would have been nice to get a win after, last season we won a couple. So, but I can't complain about the string of second places there, and just overall it was a decent season for how it started.
And you're definitely one of the veterans of the series. Have been around since its inception in 2018. What are some of the things that you've noticed have become a little bit different over the course of these last couple of years? It seems like the competition is definitely one of the main things, I would say, right?
Yeah, it seems to get a little better each year. This year was probably the stoutest competition, at the top level. Tim came back, Hayden was running, brought in some good guys to, run top 5. But yeah, and then just qualifying this year was, different than it has been. So, it brought the field a lot closer early on, and, you really had to not make any mistakes early to have a good night.
Well, James, great job this whole season, and congrats on the 3rd place run tonight.
Thanks, sir.
James Edens, P3 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Dirt Track. And Justin, that is it for our interviews here tonight. Your closing thoughts here as we get set to close her out for the final time here in 2021 and kind of get geared up a little bit for the late model championship, which is hopefully coming up here in a few months.
Absolutely, and what a season to say the very least, first of all, when it came down to things. You had Bergeron be lightning quick once again, but you have Hayden Cardwell, who challenged him all the way up until the final couple rounds of the season. It was one where we seen various first-time winners break through, such as Merriman or Tyler Schell, where they had pace that was getting better and better and better each and every race. You had the return of Tim Ryan to the series. You had so many storylines coming in and breaking out throughout the entire campaign. But one of the main things to think about overall with the season overall, Chase, is the history made throughout the campaign. Drivers adding to their legacies, being able to improve. And overall, drivers making statements and putting themselves in iRacing infamy. What a season, what a series, what a campaign, and what a championship for Alex Bergeron.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it all over again here in a few months. And with that, I am sad to say for the final time, this is it for the iRacing.com World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. For Arjuna Kankipati, Justin Prince, my name is Chase Rodman. Congratulations to Tim Ryan, and congratulations to Alex Bergeron on his 3rd championship in a row with the series. We hope to see you next time when the World of Outlaws Morton Buildings Late Model Series returns here in a few months.